back to do another video. I got a few views on my other one, so I just kind of wanted to make an update or actually go back in time and tell you guys about this time my family and well, I guess just my family found out that I was pregnant with my first child, James, who's now 2. So I guess I should rewind and tell you how I told my husband, well then boyfriend, that I was pregnant. We were at home and he had some friends over and they were playing video games and I had just gotten off of work, and I felt for a few days prior that I couldn't be pregnant. We were like not preventing but not trying, so I guess when people say that, they are trying yet they're not preventing. But I went home, or I got off of work, I went and I got some pregnancy tests, and I was fairly certain that I was going to be pregnant, but I just didn't know. And I walked through the doors. It was about 4 o'clock on a Friday, and my husband hadn't worked that day for some reason. Well, my then boyfriend. So he had some friends over and they were playing video games, and I ran straight to the bathroom with my purse because I saw that he had friends over, so I wasn't going to tell him that I was going to take this pregnancy test. So I go in the bathroom, I pee on the stick, I wait, pregnant. I got one of the digital ones, I splurged, and I'm like, I just need to know. So it said I was pregnant, and I didn't know what to do. He had friends over, I wasn't going to barge in and like be like, I'm pregnant, and wave the stick around, whatever. But, so anyway, I waited till his friends left, and I said, come in the bathroom. And he was like, what? And I just didn't know what to do, and I just pulled out the test and showed him pregnant. Like, what are we gonna do? Da, da, da. Even though I secretly wanted to get pregnant, I'm sure he did too, but we were just like in awe that it happened so quickly. And he didn't know, he didn't have time to just digest anything. He was just kind of like, what are we gonna do? You can't have this baby. Like, we're not ready. You're only 20, I think I was 26 at the time of pregnancy, or time of conception, and we're not ready. You need to have an abortion. You can't have this baby. We thought we were ready. Now that it's like a reality, like, you can't have this baby. We can have one later on in life, but right now, like, you need to take care of it. Like, we need to get an abortion. Our families are gonna freak out. We're not married. Your dad's gonna freak out. So I just started bawling, crying, and I said, I don't want to have an abortion. I want this baby. I love you, you love me, we're gonna be together, probably get married anyway. Why don't we just have the baby? Kind of, you know, I just felt like if I was gonna have an abortion and then we go on and get married and have more kids, I would just feel terrible because the one child that we didn't want in the beginning, we could have just had because we were going to be together anyway. So, you know, we kind of just sat on it for a few days and talked about it and decided, you know, we're going to have this baby. And whether we're together or not, we're going to have the baby. So meanwhile, that was probably beginning or end of August, I would say. And my family invited me to go to Arizona to my sister's, or to celebrate my sister's 21st birthday, because that's where she was going to school, with U of A. So they said, do you want to come with? And my husband at the time was leaving out of town on business. So I decided, why not? Well, let's go. I'm going to go because he's gone anyway and I don't want to be home alone. We were living together at the time anyway. So I decided to take the road trip from where I live in California. It's about 6 hours, 6-7 hours, depending on traffic. So I go with my parents early in the morning and we drive to the game. We drive to the game. We go to pick up my sister. We have lunch, dinner, we go to the movies, we do all this stuff. And the whole time I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm pregnant this whole time. No one knows. My little sister, I did tell. She did know because I needed to tell somebody right away, and we were pretty close, so I decided to tell her. And she didn't tell my parents or anything, so I wanted, you know, to tell them on my own time and just, you know, kind of break it to them easy, because I mean, being 26, you're not that young, obviously. You should be out on your own, married or whatever. But the thing that I was most scared of was that my parents are Catholic and my mom is very Catholic, and I was just very afraid of letting her down and having her be so disappointed and so mad or not talk to me, or, you know, the lists and lists can go on and on about the things that I was afraid of with the Catholic mom getting pregnant out of wedlock. So my sister knew not to tell my mom anything, and we just went on and celebrated. And I didn't order any drink. My sister isn't a big drinker anyway, so we really didn't go out there to drink and party, otherwise I wouldn't have gone. So we just wanted to like take her out to dinner and, you know, see her for her birthday. And so we went, and it was a lot of fun. You know, like I said, we just did like dinner, movies, laid out by the pool, things like that. At this point, I was only maybe 10 weeks, so I wasn't showing really because it's my first pregnancy. No one knew. And I would wear like, you know, sweatshirts, baggy shirts, things like that. Anyway, the last night we were there, we decided to go to the U of A football game. So we get dinner, we get our tickets, we go in, we're sitting down for the beginning of the game, and I told my sister, I really have to go pee, like so bad, like come back to the bathroom with me because we're already up in the stands. I didn't want to walk to the bathroom alone. So we get to the bathroom, I'm peeing, she's peeing, whatever, and all of a sudden just blood starts pouring out of me. And all I can think of is, oh my gosh, I'm having a miscarriage. What the heck? This wasn't meant to be. Apparently, I'm bleeding to death. Something's wrong. So I tell my sister, Carly, go get my mom. Go get mom. And do any of you guys do that when you're talking to a sibling and you say, my mom? And it's both of your moms, and the one sibling's like, oh, my mom or your mom? And it's just kind of like a joke. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But so I tell her to go get our mom. And I say, tell her what's happening, and she says, Mom, Alec needs you in the bathroom, and my mom just rushes down there, and she goes in the stall, and she's like, what's going on? And I said, I was going to tell you in a cute way, but I'm pregnant, and I'm pouring out blood, so it must be a miscarriage. I don't know what's happening, and help, kind of thing. And she said, okay, we need to call 911. You need to get to the hospital. And we need to figure out what's going on. And immediately I'm like, hospital? What? Can't I just like go home and get it to the doctor when I get to the doctor? And she's like, no. So in comes EMTs with, sorry, my little girl's over there sleeping. An EMT with a wheelchair. I get in the wheelchair. They take me down to their medical station. They're checking me out. And it was just weird because the EMT, I guess, the person that worked at the field, it was like, what, you're bleeding? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm definitely having a miscarriage. And he said, okay, well, can you pull your pants down and show me where it's bleeding? And I was just and I said to him, I'm having a miscarriage and I'm bleeding. I don't have a cut that you need to look at. Like, I need to get to the hospital for a real doctor to check me out. You don't need to be looking at my crotch bleeding, you know? And my mom was horrified with what he was asking me to do, and my mom said, no, just take her blood pressure, get the ambulance here, and let's get this show on the road. You don't need to be checking her out. You're not a real doctor. You're just, you know, on medical staff here at the field. And then my sister walks into the room that they're examining me in, and my mom was talking to her, and the EMT guy, well, I don't know what to call them, medical tech at the field, says to my mom, who's that? And my mom said, oh, that's my daughter. You know, she goes here. That's why we're here. And he said to her, oh, is she pregnant too? Just like freaking wanted to slap the out of him. But my mom was like, no, she's not. Thank you. And he was so rude. So meanwhile, my dad's still at the game, watching the game in the seats while my mom's dealing with all of this. And then in comes my dad, and he's kind of like trying to figure out what's going on, kind of piece everything together, and he said at the time that he kind of figured I was pregnant and that's what was happening, but he wasn't sure, and he wasn't going to say anything, especially if I was having a miscarriage. So we go down to the ambulance, they whisk me off, and they're doing a bunch of tests, and I'm sitting there waiting and waiting, and meanwhile it gets to be like midnight, and my sister's waiting in the waiting room at midnight on her 21st birthday in an emergency room. I just felt so bad, but she said she didn't mind because she doesn't drink anyway. It's not like we'd be at the bars. So finally the test results come back. They have me go in the back. They say, you know, obviously the blood shows you're still pregnant because you're just having a miscarriage now. You still have the HCG levels for pregnancy positive. Let's go ahead and get an ultrasound. So they whisk me off to get an ultrasound. My mom comes with me because it's just an ultrasound, so she's allowed to come back. And they pull it up on the screen, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm having a miscarriage. My mom's, you know, consoling me, saying, you know, I've had a few miscarriages in my day, and I know what you're feeling, and, you know, just trying to console me. We're calling my husband now, then boyfriend, while he's on business, saying what's happening, and he's freaking out and wanting to come on a plane to see me. And I said, you know, just wait, you don't know what's happening, so we'll see what's going on. And he's texting me that he wants to keep the baby and he hopes the baby's okay, and you know, it just kind of put into reality that we wanted the baby. If we truly didn't want the baby and I was gonna have a miscarriage, I feel like it would have been a relief to us, and it wasn't a relief. It was sadness and anxiousness and anger. So we knew that we wanted that baby. And so they put the jelly on my stomach, and they are, you know, feeling around, and there's the baby kicking and moving and waving, and it's 12 weeks. And my mom just starts crying, I start crying, and that's how, you know, we were able to see that the baby was still alive and fine. And then they said, okay, if the baby's still alive, we've got to figure out the bleeding situation. And they did find out that it was a tear. I can't think of the exact name, but there was a tear in the lining, and they said eventually it would heal itself back up, or it would break more, and I would eventually have a miscarriage. So I kind of wasn't like completely out of limbo, but they said that I should be okay, and that it is a thing that happens a lot, and 90% chance or more that I would still be able to carry the baby with that tear, and that it would just heal itself up on its own. So we're in the room after the ultrasound, and my mom says, so do you want to tell Dad or do you want me to tell Dad? And I said, you, because I was terrified. And so we go back in the room, and she says to him, so are you ready to be a grandpa? And he was just like, yeah, I figured that was the case. And he wasn't angry. I'm sure in his heart of heart he was disappointed, but he didn't show it. And he just wanted to know, like, how long I knew, if Julian knew, who was my boyfriend. And he just kind of wanted to be there for me. And after they did all of my discharge paperwork and all of that, we were able to leave. And we went through In-N-Out because I was starving. And we went back to the hotel and just passed out, because at that point it was like 2 in the morning. And we just fell asleep, and that was that. And that's how my parents found out that I was pregnant. And obviously it wasn't the best way to tell them, and like I said, we had planned to do something cute and, you know, nice and make it a positive experience for my parents when they found out, but I guess God has his way of just deciding what's gonna happen and how things are gonna be laid out to people. So yeah, that's the story of how everyone found out that I was pregnant. I will do some more videos about how I met my husband, so you can kind of get to know us. I'll put a few more vlogs out there now that I'm trying to get the hang of vlogging. I more want to share my story and share all of my hardships and victories with everybody, and kind of be in this community. So if you like what we're doing so far over here, then keep on following Phillips. Click the subscribe button and the bell notification, and we'll see you next time. Bye.